Hi everyone. Just thought if you're curious and wondering how I go about translating the Federalist Papers to Farsi, I just thought I'd go over it with you. In these videos that I'm making, I'm translating and annotating the Federalist Papers into Farsi. And the reason I chose to go about it this way in audio-visual format rather than just put it in print is because for somebody who does not know American history nor the language, to translate these papers and try to do it justice, for every half a page of one of these papers you have to do 3 pages of annotation and explanation. Plus, since at the same time that I want to familiarize the viewers with the Federalist Papers and the idea of federalism, I want them to learn this language too. So I'm going about it using this video format. Of course, the video quality is not great. I'm using an expensive phone, but the audio, I think, will do the job. So I encourage the viewers to concurrently, okay, because if they just read the Federalist Papers by themselves, or even if they listen to me translate them, just plain translation, it's not going to make any sense. So I encourage them to read some books, and while they're getting their language skills to a point where they can actually read the book in English, then they can watch a lot of videos, educational videos, and go to a lot of different websites that they can use as resources. So I introduced them and you, if you're not really familiar with American history, to start with the PBS series, Liberty, then take advantage of History Channel's 2 video series on the American Revolution. I think BBC has 1 or 2 sets of videos on American Revolution. And then Teaching Company has many courses, and now they're available online, and watch or listen to the relevant videos that cover the American founding. And actually they have a good set of videos that covers the American history up to the Revolution. Okay, the lists of the books and everything else is very long, and here I only recommend some of them, okay? I'm not going to be able to list everything. Some of these books I've read, some of them I'm reading, some of them, if I've not read them, I'll mention it to the viewer that I'm going to read because some scholar has recommended it. But one of the most important things to start off with is, of course, a good edition of the Federalist Papers and Anti-Federalist Papers. And then a great book is Pauline Mayer's Ratification. Okay? And the new book that's come out by Michael Claremans, I read it a few months ago. It's called The Framers' Coup. It tells a great story, and it's got the most up-to-date bibliography. So I recommend you taking a look at the bibliography and reading the book. He has a couple of videos talking about his book. I'm sure there will be more videos, more in-depth. Just view those. And then here are some of the scholars that I'm familiar with. I've read some, if not most of their works. It's Gordon Wood's books, Forrest McDonald's books. In one of the videos, I mentioned my debt to Bill Moyers, a person I really, really admire as an American. He'd done a series of interviews. In one of those interviews, he interviewed Forrest McDonald, and that's how I came to know his work. And this is right after I'd read Charles Beard's book on the Constitutional Convention and the Constitution. Jack Rakoff, Bernard Balin, Jack Green, Peter Onuf, Max Edling, Woody Holton, Richard Beeman. I've read some, if not most, of these people's books. And when you watch some of these videos, they interview these people. So if I'm leaving any names behind, you can just learn them there. Joseph Ellis's books. I love writings of Tom Paine. Carol Birkin's book on the Constitutional Convention. I know I'm going to leave quite a few behind, but just wanted you to have an idea of what I talk to my viewers about. A website that I've come to appreciate lately is Gordon Lloyd's Teaching AmericanHistory.org and his lectures and webinars. Definitely pay attention to those. There's a wonderful resource. There are 2 or 3 things that are just awesome. Library of Congress. They've got videos. They've got resources of all kinds. A National Constitution Center. C-SPAN is probably the best because they've got videos on writers, on literature, on history, government, you name it. A tour of the cities of the United States, battle sites, historical sites. Those are awesome. Of course, videos that are posted on OU's IACH. I use the OU library quite a bit. I ask some of the professors questions that I'm curious about getting guidance on reading books and stuff. So OU IACH, bravo. I already mentioned the teaching company videos. There's an excellent one called The Great Debate by Thomas Pangle. It talks about the debates on the Constitution. It's an excellent one. You got to watch it. And then one reason I recommend the teaching company that's not available online is that a lot of these lectures, a lot of these talks come with a transcript. So for people who want to learn the second language, this common language that I'm proposing, it's extremely helpful, okay? Because you have the transcript, you can listen to the talk or watch the talk, depending on the format you choose, and take advantage of it. Learn that way. It's excellent. And when I say English language, in one of my videos I've already said this language no longer belongs to that island nation or to America or Australia or wherever. This is ever since 1965, when there was a new Immigration Act in the United States. We've got people from all backgrounds in the United States. Now, United States, Canada, and the other English-speaking countries, they represent the world, the population of the world. So this is I suppose I'm recommending this as a second common language for humanity. I'm going to pretty soon give it this name. Zamin in Farsi means the earth. So when I say Zamini, I'm talking about this common language that we're going to be eventually using. I'm hoping, I'm proposing, I'm suggesting. So for the 21st century anyways. Nothing will substitute the writing of the founders, okay? Because when you read those, when you get to a point where you can read them yourself, you can learn a lot from them. And we're lucky that we've got these papers because they knew someday somebody was going to be writing it, because they didn't want people of that same era talking about them, okay? Because they knew they were well read in history, so they wanted to be known to posterity, and they didn't want other people, especially the people that lived in their era and they had arguments with, they had difficulties with, to talk about them. They wanted to say their side of the story. So because of that, this is extremely important. And then the documentary history of the ratification, which is online, good edition of the Federalist and Anti-Federalist Papers, or a collection of those works. and literally thousands of videos on YouTube channels of different universities like Yale, MIT, Berkeley, Princeton. I just mentioned OU and hundreds of other universities. And different websites by different organizations. Just sky's the limit. We can learn the language. We can learn about federalism in the United States. 230 years of its history right now. This is 2017. And we can take it from there. So I hope this answers some of your questions. I know some of you are wanting this thing in print, and I hope I have explained part of the reason why I'm doing this in an audio-video format. Talk to you soon.